Welcome to Bridge Talks, and this is a brand new channel that I created for you guys. And with you here is TDK, who is the host of the channel, and we are having a co-host with me here, who is the guest of the day. The topic we shall be talking about is the ATM series, which is the first episode of the series. ATM being anti-tribal mindset. We are against the tribal mindset, and this is to be an impact in the country, South Sudan, including East Africa and Africa at large, since it's a disease of the whole Africa. So this topic is a hot topic to discuss, and I decided to have some bright minds that could bring their perspectives that could impact the people of South Sudan at large, including the people of Africa. So with us today is Dr. Peter Cholclay, and he's a qualified doctor. He's an intern doctor in Jimma University, and I really appreciate for coming to this show, and I believe that people will get to pick something from your points. So, Dr. Peter, you're welcome. We could know about you.
Thank you so much, TDK, for having me. As you have heard from him, my name is Chol Peter, Dr. Chol Peter, of course. I'm a qualified doctor, and I'm an intern in the Jimma University Medical Center. So that's all about me. I'm excited, and I need not pause to say how very delighted I am to be here and to say some things about a disease that we all know that has affected South Sudan, Africa, and most parts of the world. So this is a very important topic. To me, I call it one of the three evils of our society. And when I say one of the three evils of our society, I mean one is tribalism itself, another one is corruption, and the third one is bad governance. So these are the things that I call three evils of our society, particularly in the context of South Sudan. So it is actually my pleasure to have a word about something called tribalism that I have seen and have heard in so many occasions, the way it has affected our country. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is a very bright and clear introduction of our doctor that is with us today. And briefly, when we talk about tribalism, there are different ways that people understand what tribalism is. And we briefly want to know, what is your definition of tribalism? How would you define it?
Thank you so much once again, TDK. In my own opinion and in my own view, tribalism refers to the strong loyalty to one's ethnic group or one ethnic tribe or one's tribe that is beyond that overlook the national unity. So this is, and in another way, I can say that it is the state of organized group based on the culture, based on tribes, and based on geographical location usually. So this is what I can say about tribalism in definition.
Okay. So I don't know, when you look at tribalism, do you think is it something like biological, something born with people, or it's something cultural, or it's something social, people learn from others? How do you view it?
Thank you once again. Tribalism, in fact, you cannot differentiate to say that it is not biological and cultural. Actually, it is cultural and biological at the same time, in a sense that when a community and a tribe organize itself and live together in the same place, speaking the same language, having the same cultural activities and values and norms, these bring them together and connect them. And so when people are born into that community, they grow up with that thing that is already ingrained in them. They have that one biological. It seems like a biological because they grew up in that community in which they already find things that are already in place, and they just seem like inherit what has already, the norms, the values, and the cultural activities of that place and how they stay connected to each other. So this is what I can say. So it is both cultural, and in that way we cannot rule out also biological.
Sure.
We cannot say that it is transmitted biologically, but when you get something and you just continue to inherit it, so that brings in biology in a small sense.
So do you think it can be treated medically also?
No.
Probably.
No.
Okay. So what could be the positive impact and the negative impact of tribalism to our community?
Let me start with the positive impact of tribalism in our community. You know, our people grouping themselves into tribes is not bad in a sense that it all contributes to, or this is the definition of our diversity. Yes. So when we say diversity, we means different group that are different, having different cultural activities, different beliefs, and different ways of doing things coming together. They can carry the good parts of all their tribes and contribute to the diversity and making it a better one. A better, when you cook a food, you have to add some spice. Some spices are supposed to be added to make it a better food, to make it taste well. So our diversity will taste well when we in our different tribes, our different ethnic groups, come in with different activities, different cultural beliefs that are positive to each other and toward each other. And in this way, we can continue to live in a beautiful country where diversity is something important, and we will all be happy, embracing each other with all the positive part. So this one can make it a better place to live within the diversity. So thank you.
Yeah,
so when I come, secondly, when I come to the negative part, the negative impact of tribalism, it is when we see tribalism in another way. It is when we fail to acknowledge the difference that we usually have. What comes is the difference. So when we see the difference that we have among us and begin to have problem with those differences, that is where conflict starts. So it can actually, if we use the tribalism selfishly, to not to look down on other people, not to recognize and also respect the difference we have with other people, then in that case it will become a problem. So it can cause conflict among people, because people will have conflict of ideas, people will have conflict of interest. And if we put in interest, instead of using tribalism or tribes or groups in a way that we can make a spiced country in which we can live together happily with different ways of belief, different ways of activities, it will result into a problem in which we will start to have conflict of ideas, conflict of interest, in which we finally may get into conflict, problems, wars, and things like that can generally affect all of us. So it can affect us negatively if we don't respect each other, if we don't respect our beliefs and the differences we have among us. So this is what I can say.
Yeah, actually, there is a good point there. You get to realize PLO Lumumba once talked about a saying where he said, it's not wrong to be proud of your tribe. It's not wrong to love your tribe, but using, your tribe lines, or using your Dinkaness, your Nuerness, or your Shilukness to be the basis in which you judge other tribes is very wrong. And that is why I said, the problem is not the tribe. The problem is the tribalism. This is where the problem is. But the tribes have no problem. So that is a good point there, Dictor. And to continue is, we want to know about your experience about the tribalism mostly. Is there a point where you have been tempted, to be against a certain group or to affiliate against certain groups or something like that?
Thank you so much for that question.
Yeah.
In fact, I will be very honest with you. So, as in my own belief as I was growing up, I've always known that every group of people and every person has some good part and bad part. And so I am someone who always think of not generalizing a group of people or just saying the whole person is a bad person, because I know there is some point in which someone will be bad and there is also another point in which that person will be good. And in that case, because of that good part, if it is a group of people, if there are good parts of that community, you cannot say that this community or this tribe is bad. And that is what I do. And if there is some good part and a still bad part, you cannot generally say that this community is good. So every community has bad part and good part. And so for me, I have never, taken that position of being against some people or a certain group of people or tribe, because I have always had this kind of belief in me. Or I even never also had the opportunity of maybe saying or leveling one group of people as bad people. Though there are big problems that have occurred in South Sudan that could let someone be tempted to do such a thing, I've never done such a thing. And that's why, with my own experience of tribalism, not what I have done, but something that some people have done, is that, for example, now I know of someone who definitely don't greet me just because he knows I am from a certain community. And I don't blame him. The problem is that he knows that maybe my community has done some bad things to their community. And so what he has not differentiated is that everybody in that community is not as bad as those people who did the incident that he might have taken as an issue. So this is the thing. So in that way, I can say that I have never judged someone based on his tribe, and also I have never also leveled a certain group as bad people or based on the tribe. I didn't do such a thing in my life, so I don't have such experience. So I can. That's what I can say. Thank you.
So another question would be: is there a point maybe you felt unsafe or not secure or excluded because of simply tribalism in your life?
I never had that opportunity generally to feel excluded from somewhere just because of my tribe, or maybe about 70. There are places, of course, that I will fear to move because of my tribe. That one is there, maybe in our country. Because simply you may not be safe moving or passing in that place because you are from that place or from another tribe. You may not be safe, and you will still think that I am not safe. So this is what I can say. But to say that I've been excluded or mistreated or maybe judged based on my tribe, I never had such an experience. Thank you.
Now, I think, there is a scenario where we don't know exactly where is tribalism mostly manifesting. I think when we look at tribalism, is it mostly political thing, or is it something that is religious, or is it mostly in the social media? Where do you think it's manifesting most?
Thank you so much for that question. I will be very specific. Tribalism is mostly manifested in two areas, and particularly in politics and in social media now. So for the religion, as South Sudanese, most of us are Christians, and so there is no too much sectarianism based on religions. And also communities or tribes were having their traditional beliefs and traditional gods that they used to worship, and that had never brought any sectarianism or any problem or any conflict between the tribes. The problem came with politics. And when I say with politics, is that most of our politicians or people who exercise politics have taken the advantage of tribes and tried to achieve their own interest or political interest using tribes. And so they will try to rally the tribes, bind them to go against the opponent who is maybe from another tribes. And in this case, politics is something that is very sensitive. And so things can go wrong at any point. So in that case, so if those politicians preach the politics in the wrong way, they can be the point of the problem among people, and it has happened in South Sudan, and this is what has affected us. I don't think all those politicians we have in South Sudan have the interest of people in heart, the interest of South Sudan. Otherwise, there will be no big problem. So all the people of South Sudan, before this one was an issue, South Sudan was living in harmony. The Dinka and the Nuer, even the Murle, even in eastern Equatoria, in central Equatoria, people were intermingling with each other. They were living together very well. Not until people start to exercise this serious politics. This is where conflict came in. And you can remember during the war, we fought together. We went to the war together. Nobody was told not to contribute in the liberation because he's from a certain tribe. We were together. True. But when later we came in and then politics after the liberation, the politics of interest, of power and things like that came in, then this one has manifested now in increase of the politic among people, because the leaders we have will rally their communities behind them against their opponents, and then the communities will start to see themselves as rivals instead of seeing themselves as one people who have common interests, and the person they should bring in power is someone who has the common interest of all the people. So this is why I say it is political. Social media, on the other hand, has contributed in that it has brought a ground in which everybody in his or her own house can just wake up one morning and post anything, whether it is a propaganda, whether it is true or it is a lie, nobody knows, but it will come to the public public domain, in which everybody will read about it. It can be a hate speech, targeting certain group of people. The other group of people will have access to see it, and in that way clarification is difficult. So social media has come as something in which propaganda and a lot of hate speech is usually spread, and in that way it continues to increase hate and hatred, in fact, among people, because even if whether you are lying or you are telling the truth, nobody will know and no clarification will happen. So some people will take it to heart and start to hate the other people, because most of the people, or the majority of communities, they are good people. So you will only hate someone who hates you. That is what they know. But if you love them, no problem. Life will continue. They will mingle, and they will intermingle, and they will live together in peace. So social media has also contributed so much to the tribalism that we are facing now as a problem in our country.
Okay, and this is a point whereby I would like our listeners to get to know that, let's use social media in the right way.
Yes.
Because we are not just going to carry random stuffs. You just carry things based on your interest. They don't even have any source, a clear source of it. You just carry it, take it to the social media, and you mislead people. At the end of the day, it will affect us, which is not right for us. So let's please use social media in the right manner and make it beneficial for our community. So the other point I'm going to ask you is, when we look at religion, I feel like there is a way religion is also bringing differences. So people are trying to also divide in lines of religion. And I think you have seen where we have wars which are religion related. We have people who have religion differences, and they have wars based on their religions. So could this be part of tribalism? Could it be linked to tribalism in any manner?
Religion is something related to belief.
Yeah.
It's a belief that is usually independent from the tribes or from the group of people.
Yeah.
Because, most of the religions, for example, let's say Christianity, we say in Christianity, we are all in Christ, because Christianity means people who follow Christ. Sure. So in Christ, we usually know that there is no tribes, there is no gender, there is nothing. So somebody from Dinka, from Nuer, from Murle, from Acholi, from Shuluk, from Bakaya, from either Latuko, Muru, we can all come together and be under one umbrella of Christianity, because it is a belief. That one will not divide us.
Sure.
The problem will maybe come when we have maybe different religions in the country. For example, we will have Christianity and also Islam on the other hand, plus maybe other like Buddhism, in case it has come to South Sudan, I don't know. So that is where maybe problem can come in. So if the Christians and Muslims start to pull a rope or start to have conflict between the two groups, then that one, we will not take it back to the tribalism, to the tribes that we have in the country.
Yeah.
So because Christianity is not for for Latuko.
certain
It's not
tribe,
for
yeah.
Dinka. It's not for
one
Nuer.
tribe.
Okay, and Islam is not on the. It is the same. Is true. It is not for a particular tribe.
Sure.
So this one will be a different thing. But when I see religion is not the biggest problem that divides our people right now. The problem is
Okay.
tribes misused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.